Cool. Are you guys doing? Are you excited about the panel? Yes or no? Woo! Okay. Let's get it started. Let's invite all our panelists on stage. We have one mic. I will pass it around, but let's start. So quick round of intro. I hope you guys enjoyed pizza, by the way. In 3 minutes was all off. Cool. Let's start with a quick round of intros. Ladies first. I will pass you the mic.
Hi everyone, I'm Sue. I'm part of the strategy team at EigenLayer, and I'm currently the only one in Asia. So nice to meet you, everyone. I'm based in Singapore.
Hi, I'm Dorthy. I'm head of growth at AltLayer. We're a pseudo extended team of EigenLayer. Just kidding. I'm also
She got a merch because she's one of our AVS.
and I'm also based in Singapore.
Hi everyone, I'm Mike. I'm the founder and CEO of EtherFi. We're a liquid restaking protocol.
Hello everybody. I'm Marco and I'm co-founder and growth lead for Linea. That is a layer 2 on top of Ethereum, powered by ZK EVM.
Hi, I'm Tien, founder CEO of Pendle.
You made it, man. We didn't even know that if you were coming at the end. Cool. Let's start with a quick question, right? I think Nader explained a little bit what's the challenges today around infrastructure, but you want to quite quickly mention around, why restaking and all the developer tooling around restaking is necessary. What are the challenges right now around the scaling Ethereum, and what people actually are looking forward to having solution like this around AVS?
So many challenges scaling Ethereum a lot. The biggest one that we face now is we want to scale unstoppable app by making them stoppable. So the biggest challenge that we have is to how do we ensure censorship resistance on layer 2. With throughput, we are already scaling it. Like on Linea, we were able to process 65 TPS. That's definitely not enough for a single layer 2, but still, it's more than Ethereum mainnet. So we are already scaling it up. But then there's the big challenge about decentralizing the sequencer. There are many other challenges, especially when it comes to bridge, for example. Like it needs to be more easy to move funds from mainnet to layer 2s if we want layer 2s to become more adopted. And there are other challenges on how to align the incentives with trends like restaking, for example. On layer 2s, it's difficult to push user to bridge out funds, go on layer 1, restake on layer 1, and then bridge back funds in. And this is one of the challenges that we are addressing with the friends here at EtherFi, for example, that allow user to natively restake on the layer 2 and on the back bridge the funds back to the layer 1. So we are coming there step by step, but we are coming there.
I'll answer your question maybe in a slightly different way maybe than you meant, which is there's multiple ways of thinking about scaling Ethereum. One way is to facilitate the increase in TPS on Ethereum or Ethereum rollups. And that takes you from, let's say, 30 transactions per second to 30,000 transactions or whatever the number per second, which allows high-frequency trading firms to, instead of doing 1 or 2 transactions per second, doing 5,000 transactions per second and arbing smaller and smaller increments. That has some non-zero value, but probably not as much as you'd think in terms of actual economic value and utility of Ethereum. The more important element to scaling Ethereum is scaling real economic usage, getting normal people to actually use DeFi. Normal people probably doesn't include most of the people in this room, and I include myself. I'm thinking more like normal, non-technical people that just want to get problems solved in their day-to-day life. And among many things that are required to scale Ethereum in that regard is, yes, we need better layer 2s and other solutions to increase the number of transactions per second and reduce gas costs, but it also includes things like account abstraction and applications like apps that actually simplify and make it easier for people to use Ethereum without having to know what a Pendle YT token is. Everyone should be using Pendle, but in the background without really having to worry about the mechanics of that. So that's I think in some ways is even a more important problem than just increasing the throughput.
I agree with Marco that Rollup is essentially the main tools or the main direction that we're taking to scale Ethereum. I think last year when we had the Builder Night events, we had a lot of them. We were talking about different L2s, different approaches, and it's kind of obvious today that Rollup is probably one of the most mature solution in the space for scaling Ethereum. And for all these roll-ups, you can see them as building highways. We have floods today. The city gets swamped. And if you have enough highways, if today we can build 10 highways from scratch, then probably we can alleviate some of the problem. That's kind of what roll-ups are doing. But instead of having just 10 highways, we're having 1,000 highways almost. You can see Layer 2s bidding even on Bitcoin, Layer 2s leveraging Cosmos SDKs. So right now there are so many types of Layer 2s and so many Layer 2s or Layer 3s in existence that I don't think it's a problem to scale Ethereum for us. The real problem is how anti-censorship they are, how decentralized they are. Because right now we're building 1,000 black boxes. We're building 1,000 blockchains with single sequencer, with single server. There are server chains. I think Solana gets accused of being the server chain a lot, but in reality, rollups are really the server chains. They're single server. They can be taken out any second if there's something happens to this single node. And that's why we're proposing a solution to decentralize all these sequencers and validators. And we introduce the security from Ethereum itself by integrating EigenLayer. We built EigenLayer AVSs for rollups so they can have the best of the both worlds. They can have their own block space, they can have their own roll-up. At the same time, they can decentralize the sequencers and validators and have 1,000 nodes to run, to operate these sequencers and validators rather than having the project team to own the one node and it might break or the project team can rug everyone and take the money away. So that's, I think, the key question today. It's not whether we can scale Ethereum, it's more how are we scaling Ethereum? Are we making Ethereum more centralized or decentralized? What kind of future are we building as builder in the space?
Okay, I'll just add real quick to Dorothy's point. So essentially, obviously, AltLayers is one of our AVSs. For EigenLayer's role in this place is that we're essentially a marketplace, and we help protocol like AltLayer to bootstrap their security. And we provide a set of validators. We actually, right now, I think there's a few validators that I can see that are working with us on our platform. But we onboarded a very broad set of validators to help secure all the AVS network. To enhance the decentralization and also make sure that the security level is high as well. Yeah, just add real quick to that, and then we can move on to the next question.
No, please allow that. Everybody needs to go and going forward back. I think that's the way. And I think you were speaking about Builder Night Kuala Lumpur, right? That we started speaking about restaking. That was really cool. Cool. You touched a little bit on AVS, right? Like everybody know what an AVS is? Raise your hand. Okay, some people. What is an AVS? Quick. I mean, you cannot answer. Come on, it's, you're biased. What is an AVS in a nutshell, so that everybody know, and you are also getting recorded.
Well, the official answer is actively validated service, but that three words themselves don't really mean much, I would say. But essentially, any kind of protocols, network that needs security, proof of stake security, that will be part of our AVS ecosystem. So that's kind of a very broad scope. So right now on our platform, at least for mainnet launching, we have 7 AVSs live on our mainnet. And that range across from bridges, co-processors, and then oracles, etc. So a few categories there are already live on our mainnet, and we have a lot more to come.
That's a really cool one. You spoke about categories. I want to deep dive a little bit on AVS use case, right? Is there anything, professionally and personally that you guys are excited about? What are the use cases in AVS development and research that is happening right now that are you guys excited? Pass the mic, yeah?
I'll kick off real quick with an example. So I'll just use AltLayer as an example for roll-up service. So imagine you are actually a GameFi or SocialFi, any kind of consumer app developer, which we see a lot of those in Asia. So essentially, you want to focus on building a product instead of worrying about infrastructure issue. But if you're doing like on-chain gaming or on-chain social interaction apps, then essentially if you build on Ethereum, you'll have some network efficiency issue. And that's where rollup comes into play. And for our platform, if you're a GameFi, SocialFi user, you come to EigenLayer, you look at the AVSs that we have that are offering different kind of service, and then you go, okay, rollup seems to be a right fit. They can help me save a lot of costs and increase the network efficiency. I will choose my rollup partner here. So essentially you one-click plug into our our AVSs, and to enjoy that level of infrastructure that in the past you will never be able to enjoy because you probably hire a lot of developers yourself to build these infrastructure, or you're using a third party to provide that third service. But now we have that available on EigenLayer, this marketplace for you to use.
Yeah, I'll add to Sue's point that I think there are two types of businesses that will benefit from AVSs the most. The first type is, as Sue just mentioned, gaming, social app, or even AI chains who are more consumer-facing. If you're an application that are consumer-facing, a lot of time you cannot attract the infra type of audience. Like, people who are interested in layer 2 rollup technology or restaking are generally a different user type than application users who are into gaming or social apps. So for all these applications to tap into this more professional customer segment and to be able to get their security bond or economic bond provided by all these stakers who are potentially East Wells or Ethereum focus liquid funds or family offices, they can actually get a stronger security backing for their own chain, as well as get their project be known to a new user segment that would not be otherwise attracted to this project. That's a very good bootstrapping strategy for a gaming or social network project that doesn't want just retail users who want to play the game or use the social app. In opposite to this type of applications, I would say the second type of business that would benefit the most from AVSs or projects like ZK coprocessors or those B2B projects that are so hard to understand that they normally wouldn't be able to attract retail users or Ethereum stakers. They would be so niche that only a very selected group of users would actually pay attention to these projects. But like Language or Brevis, these very high-tech advanced projects would now be able to attract the mainstream users through integrating with the AVS provided by EigenLayer. So I think these two types of business would benefit the most by attracting exactly the opposite type of users they would normally attract.
So I certainly would echo everything that's already been said. So maybe I'll add a slightly different spin on it, which is there are a lot of things that everybody here probably already uses that could be made better if implemented as an AVS. Yeah, pretty much almost any crypto economic network could be an AVS. Doesn't mean it should be, but it could be an AVS. And so if you think about these kinds of networks like Oracle networks, bridges, blockchains, implementing them as AVSs is, first of all, possible, and second of all, confers a bunch of advantages. For blockchains, it helps them bootstrap faster. For bridges, it makes them more secure because there's much stronger crypto economic security guarantees associated with them. And then Oracle networks can basically reuse the existing Ethereum infrastructure, among other benefits. So it's almost like you don't even have to go super exotic to realize the benefits of restaking. You can even just look at the stuff that's already out there and say, yeah, all these things that are major use cases can be immediately made better.
Any specific use case that you think that we still need to build around AVS? Or it's for everybody?
That don't currently exist?
What is it?
That hasn't already been.
Yeah.
So one thing that I'm excited about, and I haven't seen anybody build it yet, but I'll give you this idea for free.
How many developers we have in the room that want to hear this? Okay, cool. Sam.
I really think that a decentralized RPC network could be really well implemented as an AVS, and I don't know of anybody working on that. And it's something that has a built-in revenue model. It's something literally every single crypto protocol project uses, and if you just think through a few steps, it's pretty obvious that it would be really good as an AVS.
You know what to build.
Well, we are already doing this in Consensys with Infura. I fully agree. When it comes to the specific use case, I'm super excited to see oracles coming up from restaking as AVS, bridges as well. But as Mike was saying, this is very broad innovation. And the beauty of this is that it fosters the competition. That means additional innovation. So what we are going to see now in the space will be a big acceleration towards better systems and better trust minimized services. Like for a long time, we have been living with very few oracle in king-making position, very few bridges in king-making position, or that had to do some trust trade-offs. Now we can see people starting this type of services without having to bootstrap a network. And this is super impressive because it will accelerate the speed of development, and this will foster additional innovation in the space.
Make total sense. Foster innovation, right? You forget what you want to answer.
Look, I think they have already brought up a lot of interesting use cases. I don't have anything else to add. I only know points. So, yeah, that's it.
One.
Sorry?
Points AVS.
Points AVS, would it make sense?
This is always a question that I thought about, we saw a bunch of layer 2 volume going to Linea, Arbitrum, and etc. layer 2s. What is the role that layer 2s should play, and what is your expectation that layer 2 should play around this ecosystem?
Sure. Yeah.
Delegate. I don't know what to say.
We should have some other question. Yeah, no, again, to me, layer 2 will play a very important role in distributing this type of use cases because they will benefit a lot, right? L2 can use DA from restaking services. L2 can use decentralized sequencing. So L2 can benefit a lot from an infrastructure perspective. But I believe that L2 will also play a big role when it comes to the adoption because the liquidity, the asset, the TVL is moving gradually towards L2. And again, if you want to restake your ETH, you need to do it on mainnet. So the layer 2 can play a big role with this new concept about letting user restaking directly on layer 2. So we'll increase the TVL that is in restake that will improve the services that are built on top.
Sounds good. Any question you guys have? I don't want to be the inquirer asking question to everybody, especially to Pendle. If not, I will go forward. What is exciting you about? What is the next steps in around the Pendle ecosystem? So I wanna give us some alphas. Can you answer that?
So we're gonna be more aggressive in identifying promising projects to work with, because I think in terms of the value add that Pendle offers to some other protocols, many other protocols, is that we're gradually becoming a venue for projects to bootstrap initial traction. that helps with TVL, that helps with conversations with exchanges, third-party exchanges, and to some extent, it also helps with price discovery for token events. So I think in the near term, we're going to be more involved on this front. But a bigger part of our efforts is actually to work on V3, basically to scale up yield trading, because we see how yield trading can be quite a core component of a DeFi ecosystem. So we have plans in mind to scale up yield trading by enabling leverage. So basically introducing margin accounts and just enable like more efficient collateralization of assets to allow more efficient speculation of yield, right? So this brings about a more efficient market, and different types of stakeholders and users can also participate in the product in different ways. So for users who want fixed yield, they can do it through Pendle at scale, and then for users who want to speculate on yield, they can do it on Pendle at scale as well. So this is where we're gravitating towards, and I think we can enable more types of use cases that are not possible presently with V2.
Sounds good. Awesome. There you are. What's up? Yeah, you have a question, please.
I would like to follow up with TN. I actually am active users of Pendles. I also think that would be such a huge amount on the some staking tokens, like let's say stake Tier, stake Solana, other every POS chains actually have the needs of having the PT of YT of these kinds of stake tokens to get people involved in that. And do you think this is kind of any difficulties in launching that?
Yes, I think in anything that has to do with yield is an opportunity for us. So we're not going to dismiss any of that. What I would say is these are coming soon.
There you are. There you dropped. Cool. Any other questions before moving to some AVS developer stuff? Cool. So my question is we spoke a little bit about users and builder on the side, but developer tooling, are we there yet? Our developer tooling, do we have enough developer tooling for builders right now? What do we need? No? Okay, I see Samara. You want to answer?
No, of course not. I struggle to think about what tooling there is. There's Authentic, I guess. There's the EigenLayer, EigenDA kind of example that people can sort of clone, and I think there's an SDK. But it's it's you really have to be willing to kind of eat glass to develop an AVS, which is fine. That's normal, but
that's another idea, guys. Another drop.
Yeah, I think you can always reach out to AltLayer if you're interested in building an AVS. But of course, we're more focused on restate rollup, which is combining restaking with our own tech to decentralize sequencer and validator for rollups, rather than providing generic AVS as a service. I know Meryl, and he's somewhere in the audience. He is interested in building AVS as a service. He's exploring the idea. So I'm sure there will be more service provider that emerges in the space to help take away all the stress from the builder and let them focus on what they do best, which is to build out their own project, and leave the infra side to the project supporting infra partners to handle. But of course, I think Eigen team has been really friendly, and even if there might be not a lot of tooling available, but if any project will reach out to Eigen team, you'll get all the support you need. So I think at the end of the day, all the human support you get is the most valuable. It's better than any tooling or any like written stuff. So I would recommend everyone to just reach out to the Eigen team.
There you go. Yeah, coming from our AVS, so yeah, definitely reach out to us and Nader, who's right there, and Wes, my teammate, who's also here tonight. So speak to us if you're thinking about building something on AVS side or AVS tooling. We're definitely here to listen and help. And I think just one thing to add here is that, with EigenDA being live right now, and we're obviously working on a lot more innovative stuff, our team is working on something, so stay tuned. You'll see more coming out. And another aspect is, I think AVS alone, we don't see, I think these tooling could be combined with our AVSs and together bundle as a service to be offered to developers or builders in the space. So essentially, our vision is that you could see EigenLayer kind of as the Web3 version of AWS. So for builder, right now, in the Web 2 world, when you go to AWS, you can choose, what payment kind of software as service you want to use, or what kind of cloud software service that you want to use. So it's a platform for software as a service. So here on EigenLayer, so all the AVSs will be an infrastructure as service kind of model, and they could bundle with other services to together provide a better experience for the builder. One example is, for example, if you use AltLayer, you're also using EigenDA. So essentially, you're saving costs and increasing efficiency at the same time. So that is one example. So I'm sure in the future, more tooling come out, and these tooling partners could be working with our AVSs as well, and together to provide the better experience for all the builder in the space.
Cool. Sounds an official answer. I like that. So any question from the audience? I think everybody's sweating right now. Cool. Any question? Raise your hand. Everybody's too shy. Okay. Or everybody is too hot. There you are.
Yeah, a question on the benefits of using EigenLayer as a security layer, right? And just want to open up. You have, you're using decentralized decentralized validators. What does that mean for oracles on the flip side if you switch that side by side, and for bridges as well? Likewise, I think you mentioned, I can't remember what you mentioned yourself, but just want to open it up a little bit.
Yeah, so we're kind of specifically focused on the roll-up side because ever since our project started 2-3 years ago, back in early 2022, we were focused on building scaling solution for people, and roll-up was the technology we were bullish on. We had the vision that there will be over hundreds of thousands roll-up in the future, and it kind of came true. That's why we were kind of taking up a very niche sector from all the AVSs you can build, which is to combine restaking with rollup. But when it comes to other types of sectors like Oracle you just mentioned, you can actually directly integrate your Oracle with AVS in a lot more straightforward way because it's not a rocket science to decentralize an Oracle. An Oracle can naturally be decentralized with a lot of validators like Chainlink does. Actually, there's a project called AltLayer that's building an AVS. They're an Oracle project. So disclaimer, I invested in that project. And they're part of the Consensys incubator, and they're graduating very soon. So there are a lot of projects that are building with EigenLayer. I believe last time I heard the number is 200. I think a lot of projects are still in stealth mode, or a lot of them are not well known in the public. If you pay close attention, you'll definitely find a lot of alpha. So I think we're taking on something very particular because it's hard to decentralized rollup, as Marco probably knows, it's not straightforward. It is kind of more advanced technology that you need to build to do that. Whereas a lot of the other protocols are naturally in the PO, proof of stake design, so they can naturally integrate with AVS without much hurdle.
Yeah, I think I think AltLayer as our first few mainnet launching partner probably know us the best in terms of building experience. So she pretty much summarized it. Just to add, I think it especially helps with projects that are early in the building process that is not yet to launch their own token. So in the past, how people secure their network is you probably, for example, like Chainlink or now Wormhole, a lot of those that use their own token as a staking asset to secure their own network. But the problem with that is not every project is going to have that available to them on day one. And for us on EigenLayer, ETH as a staking asset helps you to bootstrap your security on day one. And we also have the dual quorum feature, which also enables you to do that with your native token later on as well. It is currently not live, but it will be live later. So these are the few aspects that we're working on.
Looks like we went into the pan to shout out, cool projects and teams. What about you guys? Obviously, without mentioning your own project, what are the teams that you're looking that are really driving and shipping a lot of cool stuff right now in the ecosystem? Yeah, please. Anything.
In terms of the developments that we're paying attention to, definitely, I think there are many layers of L2s that we are quite excited about. One that comes to mind is actually BTC L2s, because this year there's a lot of narrative around Bitcoin, and just given that Bitcoin has casually surpassed its previous all-time highs just a couple of weeks ago, I think there's a lot more that it can potentially grow. And just given that fact, there's a lot of dormant value that sits within the Bitcoin ecosystem currently not unutilized. And Bitcoin layer 2s can potentially unlock the value that resides within this particular ecosystem and offers utility to the set of Bitcoins. And I think, just given the sheer liquidity and the value that Bitcoin has, there is a chance that it can accelerate growth for a certain segment of DeFi. So that is one aspect. And modular blockchain is definitely another aspect that we pay close attention to. This is all these are all on top of restaking, right? Because we've always been a firm believer in the Ethereum ecosystem, and restaking is really a big part of it. We are actually a big beneficiary of the entire restaking narrative. So this is also an aspect that we are paying very close attention to, and just want to make sure that we continue to have involvement in this particular vertical.
I would say from the Linea perspective, there are 3 topics that we look very closely. And these are intent-based dApps. Let me elaborate after on this. Intent-based dApps links to the Bitcoin ecosystem, especially bridges, trustless bridges with the BRC20 ecosystem on Bitcoin. And the third one that is, it's more on the side of automations and, still in the logic of providing a better user experience. The intent part is super important because we don't see a future where there's one layer 2 that rule all the other. Linea is not enough to scale Ethereum, as well as Arbitrum or Base or all the other alone are not enough. So the dApps that, in our opinion, will take the most market in the future, in the next bull run, will be the one that will be able to abstract the chain. But when you want to abstract the chain and you want to work with liquidity, it starts to become difficult because you need to have a fast way to move liquidity across layer 2. The intent-based dApps don't really rely on a lot on the liquidity side. So they are more well suited to go better. And also layer 3s that are developing and coming up that are able to abstract the different layer 2s are also super interesting.
So something that's maybe like a little bit mysterious, but I think is super cool, is these ZK coprocessors. Lots of people use the words, but I haven't seen enough discussion or like, okay, what is this actually used for? And so some of the particular applications of ZK processors basically allow you to do stuff that previously you had to do off-chain, and now you could do it on-chain. So for example, if you wanted to have something that computes over a whole bunch of data on-chain in a provable, cryptographically secure way, and then use that in your protocol, previously you might, need to use an oracle. So one example of that would be every LST pretty much has to have an external oracle that figures out the rebasing cycle, like what's the price, how much ETH has that LST earned. All of that is based off-chain oracles and has various levels of centralization. In theory, at least, it is now possible to be able to do all of that effectively, entirely in a provable way on-chain. And that's really cool because it makes just for stronger protocols that have stronger security guarantees. So ZK processors are really cool with lots of very practical applications.
I'm glad Tian brought up Bitcoin there too, because I can slide in and make a small advertisement here, because we just launched the mainnet for B-Squared network, which is one of the 2 top Bitcoin Layer 2 projects in the space. I think there's kind of a gap between the East and the West when it comes to Bitcoin ecosystem. Most people in the West probably are only following stacks. And in the East, there are a lot more projects that are popping, like ordinals in the early days, and nowadays it's Merlin, B-Squared. And there's Bitcoin restaking that's coming now, Bounce a bit, and Babylon both got Binance investment. So I think there are a lot of good projects in the Bitcoin ecosystem. It's just less contested. The Ethereum ecosystem is just too advanced, too mature. So now we fast forward to restaking already, whereas Bitcoin is still in the step 1, trying to figure out how to make a wallet and how to make liquidity mining work. So there's just a lot more alpha there to identify, because it's still early days in my opinion. And of course, ETH restaking, I would always say it's one of the main theme for Ethereum at the moment. Unfortunately, we don't have much going on in the Ethereum ecosystem except for all the points, all the yields, and the restaking. So hopefully we'll see more maybe in the next few months with parallel EVM and stuff. But right now, it's just restaking and EigenLayer for the most part. Modular blockchain, as Tian mentioned, is also something we're bullish about, because we're building modular blockchains, leveraging roll-up technology, leveraging restaking. So we're always bullish on it. And I think it'll stay. In the next cycle, we'll still see app roll-ups. We'll still see more app chains coming out. And the last thing I'm most bullish about is Solana meme coin. I think in a few months' time, we'll see another wave of Solana meme coin that come out. And I think if you haven't tried it out, you should definitely try that out. It's just faster return. Thank you.
All our AVSs. Those that are live, those that will be live soon, all of them. That's all.
Sounds good. Cool. Any last questions before we are closing? There you are.
I would like to ask 2 questions about like EigenLayers. Recently, some kind of similar to EigenLayer products, they enable other kinds of assets to deposit into their protocols, like stable coins or other assets. What do you think about this? Would that be flexibilities for EigenLayers? Would it be possible for EigenLayer to explore these kinds of solutions? Yeah.
I think it's a natural evolvement in the space, and it makes sense for people to explore other asset as security token to be put at stake. But essentially for us, we do see that Ethereum security is the best in the whole ecosystem right now. So definitely still will be ETH focused. For other projects that are doing other kind of restaking service or restaking other assets, yeah, I mean, people have different ideas, different opinions, wanted to do different things, totally open to that. But for us, Ethereum security will still be our focus.
Yeah, my name is Max. We are building Bitcoin L2 based on EigenLayer. So big shout out to Pendle team for like mentioning this use case. And my question is, when do you think the actual event of slashing a validator will happen on Eigen? So because one of the common critiques is that, well, this is very theoretical and kind of this will never happen. So what will be your answer? Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Slashing is an important part, and it will happen later this year. But for us right now, I think is a lot of, we just launched mainnet, so there's still a lot of work, a lot of improvement to be done. And actually, fun fact that Solana still doesn't have slashing enabled. So for us, I think it will be later this year. Yeah.
My question is like, there's a lot of L2s right now, Starknet, ZK Sync, Linea. So what do you think? This is the like a L2 war, or is an ecosystem to helping scaling Ethereum? What do you think, guys? Like, is it really a war? Because I seen on Twitter right now, like everyone's saying this right now is happening L2 war. So what do you think?
Yeah, I will reply on the Linea side, but I would love to see also the response from the other colleagues here. So I hate the word L2 war. Really, I really hate. I said before, Linea alone will not be enough to scale Ethereum, as well as Arbitrum, as well as Base. So as long as we continue to talk about an L2 war, we will put the whole Ethereum ecosystem in a crisis where we will fight each other rather than working each other. On one side, I know that we work together. Like, I'm in touch with other layer 2. We all collaborate in the roll-up improvement proposals. We try to standardize the differences between the different L2, but the perception from the outside is always that people try to compare, push. So yeah, I really don't see a war from the inside, and I hope that the market will gradually fade off, because we should be all the layer 2 for the Ethereum ecosystem against alternative layer 1s and things like this, if we should see some against someone.
I'll just add that I really like the tagline of EigenLayer, which is play infinite sum games. We don't like zero-sum games, and no one is against anyone in the space. It's such a small industry that is still growing at a very rapid pace. So there's room for everyone to win together. I think L2 war or not, we are just seeing a lot more growth this year than last year. And then my second point is I think there's a degree of war happening at a layer 3 or roll-up stack-based layer 2 space. Like all the different Arbitrum, Optimism, and Polygon teams are kind of fighting for clients to build their own roll-ups using their own roll-up stack. From what we see, as we're RAS provider, we have all the first-hand information. It's very clear that different clients have different preferences. Different project will pick different roll-up stack. So it's not a winner-takes-all marketplace. OP Stack is not winning the war. Like Polygon and Arbitrum are both having a lot of their fans and a lot of traction. And ZK Sync is picking up now, and we're waiting for Linea to join us. So the space is so much opportunity to grow. So I don't think it's a zero-sum game at all.
I do have a question, but this is 1 hour of sleep, so you'll have to excuse me. This is for Mike specifically. So when we look at liquid staking, right? Let's step back. Liquid staking, the counterparty is the beacon chain. The yield is very simple. Everyone can calculate. The counterparty risk very minimal. Now, when we look at liquid restaking, the counterparty are the AVSs. And if we just deconstruct this really simply, AVSs are basically services that need economic security, and they want to rent it, and they rent it from you. So the interesting thing I'm very curious about hearing how you think about is there are two parties here. The AVS has to pick which service provider to choose to run their security, to rent security from, because they want to choose the validators that are most sure to stay online, basically, right? That's what you want as a service. And then you as a service provider want to pick AVSs which will promise you the yield that they promise. Because if you just run a service and it doesn't give you yield, then you're kind of fucked. You just get zero yield. So I'm just wondering where along this risk curve do you position yourself, and how do you view this overall?
Okay, I'm going to try to repeat the question. Basically, there's a dynamic, there's a three-sided marketplace. AVSs, the services, crypto economic services, node operators who run nodes, and then LRTs like us that have a bunch of ETH. One of the things you said, which is AVSs will pick their node operators, and then I guess LRTs pick the anyway. The way that it should actually work, what I view our job is as EtherFi is for the most part, it's risk management. I mean, that's basically the only thing that we're kind of getting paid to do is to manage risk. How do we manage risk? We select the AVSs that are ETH secures, and we select the overlap and quantity of ETH we provide to any given AVS. Because for any given ETH that is restaked into EtherFi, it can secure just Ethereum, or it can secure Ethereum and 50 AVSs. So you can imagine this sort of like diagram of, for every ETH, what does it secure, and then how much ETH is provided to any given AVS. Those are basically the only decisions that we're making. Which AVS is how much, what's the overlap. So in that calculus, I think the perspective of the AVS should be, the AVS should say, I'm going to trust these 2, 3, whatever risk managers to provide me the highest quality ETH. Some of that might be attributable security, meaning it's only securing my AVS. Some of that might be pooled security, and it's probably going to be a mix of both. But really, they're saying, okay, I'm going to choose, to pick a random example, I'm going to choose Swell and EtherFi to provide my ETH security. Great. You guys figure out which node operators, which whatever. All of the complexity needs to be abstracted. Like, it's hard enough to bootstrap and operate a two-sided marketplace. It's very, very hard to do, even a two-sided marketplace. Trying to manage a three-sided marketplace is just bananas. So these relationships need to be abstracted away such that you don't need to figure out how to, manage this three-sided demand thing. It really needs to be clear kind of separation of responsibilities. Again, to repeat, our role is to select the AVS and select the ETH allocation. The AVS's role should be run the AVS and don't worry about all the complexities of where the security comes from or how it's provided exactly. And the node operator is ideally they are a really good service provider. The LRT goes to them and says, hey, we'd like to run these 5 AVSs, this allocation across each one. Please do that. And they say, great, we're going to do that, and we're going to kick ass. We're going to do it 100% uptime. That's kind of the dynamic here, rather than the AVS has to figure out, I want this node operator and this ETH and this, because then it's just, nobody knows what they're supposed to be doing. Hopefully that was less confusing than...
Cool. One last question, guys.
Yes,
Thank you. So I'm a node operator, right? I have a staking validator company. Why would I choose to operate a node on your network? I operate a node on EigenLayer. Do I get delegations from you? Why? What is the yield, the staking reward, and why would I operate a node on your network?
Sorry, you as a node operator, why would you operate a node on EtherFi?
All of you, because I have cost of operating the node.
Yeah.
What's my reward? What's my return? What's my incentive in coming and operating a node? I operate on 15 networks. Why would I add you as a network?
Money. Yeah, I mean, the question is like, why as a node operator would you choose like one LRT or one, AVS or another? Yeah, it's just you generate revenue from that. So there's typically a lot of fixed costs, like people, like a certain number of servers, and you can those can be at either 5% capacity or 100% capacity. And obviously, as a node operator, you want them to be at 100% capacity. And so generally, you just want to run anything that will fill up that capacity. And so as EtherFi, we can give you lots and lots of stuff to fill up your capacity, and that generates more money.
Cool. I think we're good. And we almost passed 1 hour. So awesome. Thanks, everybody. Big round of applause for everybody. Awesome. I will see you guys tomorrow at the conference. Enjoy. And yeah. And maybe outside. It's a bit hot here.